Hi, I'm Katie, and this is the story of how my job interview went so terribly wrong. I seriously considered faking my own disappearance and starting a new life as a goat farmer in another country. It all started when I found my dream job online, a marketing role at this super cool, trendy startup. The job description was perfect. The office photos showed beanbags. Everyone had a standing desk, and the job title sounded way more important than what I was actually qualified to do. But I was so excited. I polished my resume, which was, mostly creative writing, and I felt totally prepared. The morning of the interview, I woke up extra early. I put on my best business casual outfit, which I had to Google the night before to understand what it even meant. I spent a solid 10 minutes practicing my tell me about yourself speech in the mirror, trying to look both professional and effortlessly cool. I even had the perfect answer ready for the inevitable question, why do you want to work here? My golden ticket was, because I love innovation and I'm passionate about growing brands. I was convinced this single sentence would launch me into a corner office. But, of course, the universe had other plans for me. I arrived early, feeling confident. I walked up to the reception desk and signed in. The receptionist gave me this really weird look, but I just brushed it off. Maybe she was impressed by my punctuality. I sat down and waited, clutching my resume like it was a lifeline. After what felt like an eternity, a guy came out to get me. His name was Brian. Now, Brian was a sight to behold. He was wearing jeans, a hoodie, and sunglasses. Inside, he looked at me and said, "Ready?" in a tone that was a little too casual for a job interview. I just nodded enthusiastically, trying to match his cool guy energy. He led me into a conference room, and the first thing I noticed was a giant hamster wheel sitting in the corner. A full-sized human hamster wheel. "That's for brainstorming," Brian said, as if that was the most normal thing in the world to have in an office. I was completely baffled, but I didn't want to seem out of place, so I just smiled and nodded like, "Ah, yes, the brainstorming wheel, a classic." Then he gestured for me to sit down. And this, my friends, is where it all went spectacularly wrong. The chair looked normal, but it was one of those office chairs with super slippery wheels on a polished concrete floor. You can probably see where this is going. The moment my butt touched the seat, the chair shot backward like a rocket. I had zero control. My arms flailed wildly as I tried to catch myself, but it was useless. I knocked over a stack of papers on the table, which sent a glass of water flying everywhere, and I ended up crashing right into the brainstorming hamster wheel. Brian didn't even flinch. He just stared at me, his expression hidden behind those sunglasses, like I had just performed some bizarre interpretive dance. For a split second, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. So, naturally, my body chose the worst possible option. I let out a loud, awkward laugh. That immediately turned into a snort. You know the one. The snort laugh you can never, ever take back. We stared at each other in complete silence for what felt like a full minute. I finally managed to untangle myself from the hamster wheel and get back on my feet.
Brian cleared his throat and, as if nothing had just happened, asked,
"So, why do you want to work here?" After that whole performance, I really didn't want to answer that question, but I pulled myself together, took a deep breath, and forced out the most professional thing I could think of. "Because I love innovation and creativity." Brian nodded slowly, scribbling something on his clipboard without even looking at me. His sunglasses were still on. Then came the final, soul-crushing part. He handed me a whiteboard marker. "All right," he said. "Now draw me your ideal project." Draw what? I stared at the marker in pure horror. My ideal project. Is that a thing people can just draw on command? My mind went completely blank. I stood there for what felt like an hour, holding that marker like it was a venomous snake. Finally, I drew a sad little stick figure, trying to give a presentation to a group of even sadder stick figures. It was a masterpiece of failure. I showed it to him. He didn't even glance at it. He just nodded and said, "Great. You're hired. I'm pretty sure he was joking. Or at least, I really hope he was. The moral of the story: never, ever trust a chair with wheels during a job interview. And maybe brush up on your drawing skills before you apply to a startup. Thanks for watching my little disaster story. If you enjoyed my pain, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more chaos. See you next time!